Hi, I am Rajendra Kulkarni. Welcome to my channel Programming in C with RSK. Well friends, I have already uploaded 3 videos on various topics, the introductory topics for C programming. This is the 4th video which I am uploading now, and it deals with if-else decisions, how to use if-else in our programs. In real life, there are multiple choices available for us, out of which we go for one choice after considering all the conditions present in that particular situation. Suppose if I want to go from place A to place B, which is having two routes, route 1 and route 2, say, which route I should take? It depends on many conditions, the most important one being that of traffic condition. How is the traffic on the routes? If route 1 traffic is light, I will go by route 1, else I will go by route 2. This kind of situations often come up when we go for programming for a real life solution to real life problems. If-else structure or if-else construct is useful in programming for such kind of issues which we may find while doing a program for a real life situation. How we use if-else, what is the syntax, how to use it, that we will see in this slide. If in the bracket expression for condition, then opening braces, then the statements for the code which we want to execute for if else, this another block of code within the curly braces, then our program statements, then program ends. When expression for condition evaluates to non-zero value, code following if executes immediately following if executes. So if expression for condition turns out to be true or its value is non-zero, then whatever are the statements written between the opening and closing braces for if are executed. In this particular case, statement 1, statement 2 will be executed. Code in else block will be ignored. If condition of x is true, if block is executed. If it is false, else block is executed. Either of the block will be executed in our program, and after the execution of the blocks, further program statements in the program will be executed. When the expression for condition evaluates to 0, code in the else block will be executed and that in the if block will be ignored. When program control comes out of or else, if or else, statements directly following these blocks are executed. Let us have a small demo of a small program. The usual include std.io.h, void main, opening brace. Two variables we have declared and assigned values 15 to both. Int a is equal to 15, b is equal to 15. Now comes the if. If into the bracket a is equal to b. Here both are 15, so a is equal to b will be true, or it's a is equal to b will be 1. The statements, a simple small statement we have written here, it will print on the screen a is equal to b. This printf statement will be executed because a is equal to b, so the condition in the if is true, and hence all the statements in the if block enclosed within the opening and closing braces will be executed. Now else will not be executed because the condition is true, hence else will be ignored. There are many conditions and many type of comparison operations we can carry out in our program. Conditions are tested making comparison using the operators which appear in this table. Operator symbol, this is equal to. Note the double use of equal to symbol. If we have to compare two values or two variables, we have to use this symbol, equal to symbol, but with two equal to symbols or two equal to signs. What is the meaning? It checks whether the value of entity on the left of is equal to symbol is equal to value on the in the entity on the right. So whatever are the two variables on both sides of is equal to symbol, whether they are equal, that is tested. If both are equal, then the condition is true and this will output 1 as a output. If the condition is not true or if it is a false, then the output of this comparison statement or comparison expression will be 0. Now this is the example, a small example. Int a is equal to 5, b is equal to 5 and c. These are the three variables. C is equal to, this equal to sign is a assignment operator. A is equal to b. Two equal to signs makes a comparison between a values of a and b. Since both a and b are equal to 5, c will be 1. The another symbol is not equal to. On another comparison operator is not equal to. It evaluates to 1 if condition is true and 0 if it is false. So again what it does? It checks whether the value or a variable on the left side of the symbol is not equal to on the right side. It evaluates to 1 if the values on left and right side are not equal. In A is equal to B, it evaluates to 1 if values are equal. In not equal to, it evaluates to 1 if values are not equal. A small example, again int A is equal to 5, B is equal to 5, and there is a third variable C which is also int type. C is equal to, into the bracket, an expression A not equal to B. Since both A and B are 5, A not equal to B will evaluate to 0 and C will be assigned with a value 0. Then less than, this is another operator, comparison operator. It checks whether the value of entity on left is less than that of entity on the right, whether the left side entity is less than right hand side entity in the expression. It evaluates to 1 if condition is true and 0 if condition is false. Similarly, it is a greater than operator, checks whether the value of entity on left of greater than sign is really greater than the value of the entity on right. Evaluates to 1 if condition is true, 0 if false. A small example, A is equal to 4, B is equal to 3, so C is equal to A greater than B. Since A is 4 which is greater than 3, C will have a value of 1. This expression will evaluate to 1 and that value will be assigned to C. Then the next one is less than or equal to. Checks whether the value of entity on left is less than or equal to the value of entity on right. If it is true, it evaluates to 1. If it is false, it evaluates to 0. Again a small example, int A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3C, C is equal to A less than or equal to B. Since A is 2 and B is 3, this condition will be evaluated as true and C will hold a value of 1. If I change A is equal to 2 to A is equal to 3 and again checks this expression how it evaluates, then again A is less than, it is not less than but equal to. C is equal to A less than or equal to B, which evaluates to true and C will hold a value of 1. Similarly, the next operator is greater than or equal to. While writing if-else statement, we should keep in mind a few points which we are discussing here. The condition should be written within the brackets, within the parentheses. Expression for condition should appear within the brackets or within the parentheses. Most important is there should not be a semicolon after the if and else statements. Either statement in if block will be executed or the statements in else block will be executed. If executes, else will be ignored. If does not execute, else will be executed. When only one statement is to be executed, for if or else, curly braces are not mandatory. A small example, if A is equal to B, no semicolon after bracket. Important to note, only one statement is to be executed for if block. So printf A is equal to B will be printed if A is equal to B with, we have written no curly braces here because only one statement is to be executed for if, and also for else only one statement is to be executed. So if A is equal to B becomes false, or if it evaluates to 0, if statements block A, if the statement immediately following if will be ignored, and statement immediately following else will be executed. Not mandatory to put statements in braces if being the only statement to be executed for if. Same case is for else. Execution of program will enter in if block when expression for condition evaluates to non-zero value. Important to note is, if the condition evaluates to non-zero, not necessarily it should be 1, it can be anything but 0. Not necessary to be 1. It can be anything except 0. We can use if-else statements or if-else construct using comparison between char variables. Not necessarily it should be only int or float. We can also use char variables. A small program, char ch is equal to a, we are assigning character a to ch. If ch is equal to a, naturally condition is going to be evaluated to 1. Printf ch equal to a. Since condition is true, this statement printf ch equal to a will be executed, and since since condition of if is true, else will be ignored. This statement will not get executed. Ch is not equal to a will not get executed. A small program again, we have declared a one variable char type tr underscore r1 is equal to 0. We are checking in this program whether which route should be used. A small program, just an example program. What we are asking the user is printf enter traffic condition on route 1, H for high, L for low. That H or L input is assigned to the variable tr underscore r1, which we have already declared. Then this printf statement just prints or displays on CRT what character or whether H or L is entered by the user. Now what we are doing is, if the user has entered H, which indicates high traffic on route 1, then that will be compared with H, which we are using as a character here. Since the user has entered H for high traffic, what the program is suggesting, you should choose route 2 because route 1 is having high traffic. Else you should go for route 1. A sample run of the program. Program is prompting to the user to enter certain inputs. Enter traffic condition on route 1, H for high, L for low. The user has entered L. Since it tells that the route 1 is having a low traffic, it prompts the user to choose route 1. In opposite case, if the traffic is high, the user has entered H and the program prompts user to use route 2. These are just very small examples which we should understand for understanding the if-else construct. If-else can be nested. That means within a if or a else, another if-else statements within that block can be used. The example for that, a simple example, again char tr underscore r1 is equal to 0, int toll r2, these are the two variables we are using in this program. Again a prompt from the user, from the computer to the user to enter the traffic condition. Whatever traffic condition has been entered will be displayed by the statement printf you entered %c tr underscore r1. If the traffic entered is L, which indicates low traffic, the program prompts user to choose route 1. Else, when route 1 traffic is high, if the user enters H for traffic condition on route 1, if will be ignored and else will start executing. Then the program asks for checking the toll on route 2. It prompts user to input a toll for route 2 and then another if else construct here. See, it is within the else. There if here, corresponding else here, and within the else another within the else block. This is opening brace of the else, closing brace of the else, and within that another if else construct we are using. Enter toll for root 2. Then the condition is if toll for root 2 is less than 100, then choose root 2, else if root 2 high toll, choose root 1. This is the screenshot of the program when it was run. Again the program is asking the user to enter traffic condition on route 1. User entered H. Program tells the user that see you have entered H as a traffic condition. Route 1 traffic high, check route 2 toll. This is the output statement printf of the printf from the printf in else block, first statement in the else block. Then the program prompts the user to enter the toll for route 2. The user has entered 120. Since it is R20, since the toll is not less than 100, this if will be ignored and this else will be executed, which says R2 route 2 high toll, choose route 1. Then closing brace of the else and then closing brace of the program main. So what we have seen here is we can nest if else within the if or else when there is a requirement for such kind of nesting. We have seen the operators, mathematical operator less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to. There are a few logical operators. These are called and or logical operators. Symbol for and is 2 ampersand characters. Evaluation, how a and logical and is evaluated. Evaluates to 1 if all the entities of the expression have value of 1. We evaluate to 0 if any or all the entities have the value 0. Example here, A is one variable, B is another variable. We are making a comparison by using logical AND operators with A and B. A and B is equal to 1 if A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1. Both variable values should be 1. A and logical and B will evaluate to 0 if any of the entity A or B is 0. This is called a truth table. A1, B value 1, result is 1. Any condition where the value of any of the variable is 0, the results output is 0. Similarly, there is a logical OR operation. The symbol is double pipe. It is exactly opposite and it evaluates to 1 if any or all the entities of the expression have value of 1. Here and all the entities should have one value. Here if a single entity has a one value, the OR logical OR operation will evaluate to 1. It evaluates to 0 when all the entities are 0. Example again, A or B is equal to 1 if either or both A or B is 1. A or B is equal to 0 if both A and B are 0. I'm very sorry, here instead of AND operator symbol we should have used OR operator symbol. Sorry for that. It is A or B, not A and B. A or logical or B, A logical or B if A or B any entity has a value 1, the resultant the expression results into 1. If both the entities have 0 value, then only the expression evaluates to 0. Let us use these logical AND OR operators in one program. Another feature of this program is we are not using if else both but only if statements. There is a variable int fare. Program prompts user to input choice of fare limited to 10,000 INR or 10,000 rupees. Whatever is the choice of the user, he has to enter that value. That value is picked up in fare variable by scanf statement. If fare is greater than or equal to 1000 and fare is less than or equal to 2000, if the user has input a fare between 1000 and 2000, it prompts and it tells the user to book bus journey. If fare is more than 2000 and less than 4000, less than and equal to 4000, there is a AND again, ANDing, logical ANDing. The program tells to book the train journey. If fare is more than 4000, the program tells to book the flight or a airplane journey. If the user enters anything below 1000 or anything above 1000, the program tells sorry, cannot book. Only if statement can be used, corresponding else is not mandatory. But else cannot exist without if. We cannot use else instead of if anywhere here. Use of logical AND OR makes the program simple. It is we can use the logical and OR without bothering for much of the matching of if else blocks, braces, opening and closing braces. The sample run of the program. User entered 2000 as the fare he would like to pay. Then the program tells you have to book the bus journey. If the user is ready to pay here in this run 6000, book flight. If the user is ready to pay 3000, then the program tells to book train journey. With this, we come to the end of this video. There are a few more if-else construct uses which we will be discussing in my next video, if-else part 2. In that video, we will also be discussing about the switch construct or decision control function in C. Friends, I will be uploading the videos on all topics of C. See, this is up till now I have uploaded 3 videos. This is the 4th one which I will be uploading, which constructs explains if else construct. Likewise, I will be uploading videos to explain loops, pointers, functions, and arrays and strings. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, share the video. Thank you very much.